What do you call two Hispanic basketball players playing one on one?
Oh boy. What?
One on one.
Hi everybody, welcome to Mad Magic. I'm Mono as Jay Thalid over there. How you doing, Thalid, today?
I was okay until some asshole came like in the middle of the night and they came over. They stole my goatee.
Yeah, right now you look like somebody that if I worked at a Best Buy, the manager would make me follow you around the store. I especially like the paint on the side of your sweater, but we are not here to look pretty. What are we here for again? You ever had like an uncle or a grandparent give you a story about when they had sex from their youth?
No, but I did walk into it. I walked into it one time. That was pretty
Oh my
disturbing.
God. How old were you?
Uh, 22.
So just old enough to like really be able to process it so you could be traumatized for the rest of your life?
No, just old enough to get an erection.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mad Magic TV, and I present to you Jay Thal. Today on the show, one to buy, one to sell, one to speculate on, but today we're going to go a little out of order and we're going to go one to sell first because there's a bit of a theme here.
One to sell.
What happened this past week?
It's funny that you said out of order because that's what the judge used to always say to me. But in this the past week, we had this guy named Seth Manfield. If you are involved at all in the competitive Magic community, you've probably heard this game or the name of this guy once, twice, 300 times. But he finally won a pro tour, and he won it on the back of a Murders of Karloff Manor broken mythic Vein Ripper.
Dallid, you say get rid of the Vein Ripper. So this is a black card, 6 mana, 3 black, 3 colorless. 6/5 flyer with ward, sacrifice a creature. Whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I can see how any sort of token deck would just get their ass beat with something like this. So why was this one beating everybody? I mean, look, it's 6 mana. It's only a single creature. But what made it so gnarly at the tournament?
It's just so powerful, and like 6 mana isn't like Magic is so creature oriented these days, and the removal is so bad that like it's obvious that Wizards of the Coast has taken the game into a direction targeted towards turning cards sideways and attacking with them rather than like games of control or like combo oriented stuff. And this guy is just so fucking good. 6/5 flyer. The word cost is just absolutely like backbreaking. Worst case scenario, you're getting 2 to 1 for this card if it resolves. And the next
Right,
line
because
of
if
text
somebody gets rid of the card, they have to spend a card to get rid of your card, but you gain 2 and they lose 2, so it's a 4-point spread. For even if it's at bare minimum even card economy. But even with the prices of creature removal going up, it doesn't cost 6 mana to get rid of a card, right? So that's another part. But clearly it worked. He got this guy on the board and was beating everyone's ass in.
Yeah, a lot of the best creature. Keep in mind this is a standard tournament, so a lot of the best creature removal that exists that can take on a guy like this is available in Modern.
All right, so you're saying to sell this. Let's go to MTG stock. So look at what's happening here, everybody, right? So this is only going back to now January. It's basically been a month. I could stretch this out a little bit or compress this so we can see a little bit less on time. Let's get us into February here. And we see, wouldn't you know, basically after the tournament, bam, the price goes up. I mean, we were at $8, $9, and then now we're getting up to 30 some dollars, up into the 20s, about $30 for the card now, there on February 26th. It's already, though, down to 25.
Yeah, I did. Wizards of the Coast made another mistake. They overprinted Murders of Karloff Manor. We're going to be able to get booster boxes probably on Amazon dumps or other website dumps very cheap soon. So one has to give. Um, a mythic being worth $30 in the way that cards are printed today is it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the only reason for the huge price spike was, oh shit, this card just won. Basically, is the reason that this guy won this pro tour.
Because your reason for wanting to sell this, in addition to what you're saying, is for the very reason of our one to buy today, right? Now that you get a badass card that people didn't know about, people go, oh, it's so amazing, but they hadn't really you don't think about, this hasn't been stress tested yet. There's many formats, there's many other cards. People didn't think they needed a certain card, but the cards could be out there, and the Vein Ripper will not enjoy the element of surprise and might not be nearly as potent as it was in this particular tournament. So what do you think people could buy if for no other reason that they want some protection from Vein Ripper in some of these formats?
1 to buy.
So, although you can't play it in standard, Vein Ripper is a card that is it's going to seep its way into Pioneer, because of how good it is. But Tears of Valakut. Tears of Valakut kind of falls into the realm of a card that, it's the card that I want to buy, and in a way, it's a kind of a card to speculate on. This is kind of a shot in the dark. But if you read this card, it's colorless and red. It can't be countered by spells or abilities. Deals 5 damage to target creature with flying. And technically, with the ability of Ward, what Ward does is counter a spell that targets a creature. So you don't have to pay the Ward cost when you cast Tears of Valakut and you target the Vein Ripper. So you have a 1-card sideboard answer to a very good card that could very well seep its way into Pioneer. So
yeah.
At its current cost, what I think it's like 5-10 cents. You could probably buy. There's no reason why not buy a brick of these. Buy about 200 copies. Spend 14 to 20 bucks. And if this card spikes to $2 as an uncommon that has only one printing from a set that was printed in 2017-ish, something like that.
Right. So this is a Pioneer Modern, right? There are other formats that people can be dumping this thing in. I actually went on Card Kingdom and picked up 20 of them for 35 cents, and I spent enough money, 35 cents a piece. I spent enough money to get the free shipping. I think that matters. One of the things I think you're correct about in its pricing here, and we'll once again go over to MTG Stocks. Thank you, MTG Stocks. We love you. People aren't going to go on eBay and sell a card for a nickel, right? So when I went on eBay, it was always like $1. Otherwise, people aren't going to be bothered. So I think in order for you to get these things for really cheap, you probably have to go to your local game store and start flipping through and seeing if they have these, and then picking them up that way. Some rando set from 7 years ago, 4 years ago, right? Anything out of standard as an uncommon is probably 4 for $1 or even less. They probably don't really give a shit. They're like, take what you can get. But I think that's where you have to go. Online, it'd be a little bit tougher. It's just not enough money to do this. And something you mentioned from time to time, Thalid, and we'll keep talking about it at other shows, how illiquid the market is, right? So meaning that people aren't going to just be sitting on 1,000 of all these uncommons from all these sets. You're not just, it's hard sometimes to get to a single buyer and just pick up a brick, so you kind of have to run around. So find a trade show or something like that and get them. But all in all, I like cards that have the theme of, I get to play it, okay? And stop your dumb shit, right? Like, Vein Ripper, that's totally OP, right? Having a sacrifice a creature, but of course, with the Ward costings, that Ward is just brutal because Ward sucks up resources in the middle of a turn. And mana is I think Ward is a very powerful mechanic, right? Because Ward, the mana is always tight every turn. Trying to keep 3 mana untapped at the end of your turn can be extraordinarily difficult in today's day and age of Magic the Gathering, as you said, like creature. It's just one big creature feature now. And so you start tossing things with Ward out there, it can be brutal. And so with Tears, You don't have to pay the ward cost. And so I agree with you. I think this is a very sexy card. It's just something that's always there. You don't have to pay the ward cost. So not only this fucking vein ripper, but anything else that can come out, be mindful, no ward cost because of the tiers.
And to your point, the one place that you can find stuff like this online sometimes is TCG Player Direct. Occasionally, TCG Player Direct will sell. They'll have some sellers will have like maybe 100 copies of a card like this, so it's worth it for them to sell it for 7 cents a piece or 10 cents a piece, and then it's worth paying the shipping and stuff like that for them. But other than that, you're absolutely right. The best place to do this and the best way to acquire this card is your local gaming stores.
One to speculate on.
What is our one to speculate on?
What I have as one, this is a very special one to speculate on this week. And this is a card that I would like to see, and Mono would like to see be our kind of a channel mascot. And anyone who supports us, support this card and buy every near mint copy that you choose to buy, because we're going to do a buyout experiment with this card. And the card name is Exorcist. And I have slowly been accumulating near mint copies of the card, or as whenever I see the price drop to the $4 to $8 level, I buy every single near mint copy that I can find. And we're in the future, we kind of plan on like our audience, if you can, it'd be really cool. Show support for the channel. Buy the card, man. Like, get on top of the pump, bro. And we're gonna buy as many copies as we can. We're gonna see how it affects the price of the overall market. See how it reflects the overall liquidity of the Magic market. See how many more copies come onto the market as the price rises. And there's all kinds of other points of analysis that are really interesting to me, at least, regarding doing a buyout. And this is a speculative buyout. It's a decent card. It's one of the Four Horsemen sets. It's on theme with the set, and it's valuable in the sideboard in old school.
And a reserve list card.
Yes, reserve list card. Yeah. So it hits all.
Talk about a vein ripper killer right there, huh? You're not gonna see cards like this no more. Royal Assassin. Yeah. That's what we had to deal with back in my day when we were playing Magic bare feet uphill both ways in the snow. These sorts of cards were ever. You drop Vein Ripper, Swords, 1 mana, instant, end of your turn, untap, play. It's just, they have gotten rid of all the control. And then right when you get something going, Armageddon, Wrath of God, oh, I held on to 5 land. But the Exorcist has always been a very fun card, very powerful card, I think, when you can just start blasting creatures every turn. He is $8 to $12 about. Here, let's run over to TCG here real quick. And we'll look at what we've got here. So the Exorcist, 155 listings, right? So think about that, everybody, with what Thalat is saying. 155 listings, and most of these are all going to be ones of ones. We may run into a few that have 2 or 3 to sell, but mostly they're all going to be by themselves. So there are other places to buy cards, but also consider this, right? Of these 155 listings, some of these are dumb shit, right? Ty, hey Ty, you got to know that we rip on you on eBay for putting listings like that. $169 for an Exorcist. Right?
Yeah, that's absolutely asinine. Yeah.
Right. So if we're really looking at the real amount of listings of stuff worth playing, plus if I went back to the beginning, a lot of them are heavily played, moderately played, right? They're shit. But as we get in here, here's plenty. So here's near mint, but with shipping, right? So $15 already. The amount of them that would have to be purchased is what I'm getting at to really see the market move. Could honestly be between everybody 200 cards. And your $10 card could be worth 20. And so here's something else to look at here back to MTG stocks. So of course our COVID 2021 spike showed it just shy, basically $50 card. So we know that it can get there. But most of the time when we look at this spike, it's right in here. Okay. And then it's over. Going over now into this is March and April of 2022, right? So this is farther down the road. But what I like about The Exorcist is that it managed to stay basically like a year later. You know, this is April 18th when it's sitting at $50. I come out here to April 19th of 22, it's still $50, you know, $47.50. It's so brutal when you look at how it goes down. I would just say that this is an example of a card that went down in price just because it was just market forces. Like nothing was wrong with the card. You know, it's a collector's card, it remained it, but everything just went down. And so I look at this as something that took a real bath because we were in a bear market on cards. But, you know, we think that that's turning around now. And people, if you haven't heard us say that, we do. We think it is bottomed out and it is just starting to turn around. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Salad.
If you made it to this point of the video, watching the video, please in the comments, comment #Exorcist Army.
Yes, and I will also put up here a clip of some Japanese game show porn for you so that you can watch that too as a reward for having gone through all of this stuff.
Magic.